sign, the raven and the dove. A call to the watchman. Welcome back, family. Today we are going to begin a two-part series. In this series, I'm going to break down the sign of the raven, and in part two, we will break down the sign of the dove. And this is a call to all of the watchmen. The things that I have found are absolutely spectacular in the heavens, and we're going to dig into this. It's going deep, family. So uh, grab a hold of something because this is serious stuff in the heavens. And I have stumbled upon this sign multiple times in the heavens, and as you know, because I'm still using Stellarium Web, I have a problem with the comets staying up. I'm still in transition looking for a correct studio to do this in. I'm just being blessed by a friend right now who's letting me just do these quick videos. But I don't really have a spot to really dig into all of the stuff that I have. I only have a part of my paperwork that I need to do all of these decodes. And so we're going to try to make this as detailed as possible, but I may have to bring out part three to bring forth all of the details once I can get into a correct studio. So, anyway, let's go ahead and move forward. Again, welcome back. This is going to be a very incredible study. So I hope you are blessed in all of this information that we bring forward. We're here on Stellarium, and we're looking at a very incredible sign that I found in the heavens. This is Comet 141P G Machholz, and this sign with the what I call the Watchman. This is a group of comets, the Swasman Walkman, but I call them the Watchmen. This is the celestial watchman of heaven, and this is a incredible group of comets that travels together, and you can see that they are moving through space together, and there's no other group of comets that I've ever seen that does this. And this is a really incredible sign that I've found here. So I want to bring this out, and we're going to do more research into it because again, I can only do so much. Um, I really need all of my codes in a organized fashion. And when I did my move out, I basically just piled everything up and stuck it in boxes. And in order for me to go forward with any of that, I need to be able to unpack all that somewhere and do a quick organization. And then I can bring forth all of my codes that I've already done for all of these comets and asteroids. And then we can break everything down from there. But for now, we're going to do more of a study on what I've found here, and this is where it really gets to the nitty gritty. of what these signs in the heavens mean. And so we're going to go into that instead of looking at the codes and the typical thing that I do with these comets and these asteroids. What we're really going to embark on is more of a research study on these constellations, the meanings, and we're going to go back into history. We're going to look at some of the ancient descriptions of these things. We're going to look at some Mazzaroth information for this constellation that we'll be looking at, and we're going to connect all the dots as these, as we can see here uh, that this comet Machholz is sort of pointing us in a specific direction on this day when these align in this fashion. They move through space in a very specific um, pattern, and I have found this pattern before, but this alignment is very special because of its marking the constellation Corvus. And so, what we're going to do is we're going to dive into this. First, let's go ahead and get this centered. We're on meridian here, and we can see that this 141P and all of these other comets are essentially they're pointing from the constellation of Virgo through the constellation of Corvus, the crow, or the raven. This was originally a raven, and then it got turned into a crow sign. But this is the ancient raven in heaven. And then these watchmen comets, they end up going directly through a Vela, and this is a very important part of heaven. This goes and ends up essentially. Let me change this perspective here. Um, this. I don't want to lose our spot here. This is you can see the boat Argo here, and this is pointing us to the ship in the heavens, the ark in the heavens. This is the Argo constellation, and these watchmen um, comets are pointing us to on this day. It's making an alignment with the Machholz comet, and then it's going directly through Corvus on meridian. And let's go ahead and pull that up. That's 7:25 of July 25th, 2022. And as I've said before, over the years, I have found this 3 or 4 times. And unfortunately, when I go back to try to uh, find the sign again because of the using Stellarium Web, I lose it every single time. So I had to just hold this page with this location and time and get back to it as quick as possible and do this video while I have this sign up, and we can break into the information and bring out all the details. So give me 1 sec, family. I'm going to take a quick break. I will be right back in 1 second. Okay, we're back. And what we're going to be talking about today is this Corvus constellation. Excuse me. The Corvus constellation, let's go ahead and go here first. We're going to Emmaus Road Ministries. This is one of my favorite online studies. This is the Emmaus Revelations .blogspot.com, and I just love the things that they present in their studies of the Mazzaroth. So this is one of the sites that you should come to and do as much research as you can on all the things that they present. Um, what we're going to be talking about today is excuse me, family. Uh, give me 1 second. I'm having an allergic response. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. I am in a atmosphere I'm not used to, and I have pretty severe allergies. So bear with me. So here we are, Emmaus Revelations. This is Corvus, the Raven, Mazzaroth series, part 44. This is from Revelation 19, 17, and 18. Then I, John, saw an angel standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the birds that fly in the midst of heaven, come and gather together for the supper of the great God, that you may eat the flesh of kings, the flesh of captains, the flesh of mighty men, the flesh of horses and those who sit on them, and the flesh of all the people, free and slave, both small and great. And we know what this is tied to. We have come at last to the final deacon in this awesome story in the night sky, and the last of the three belonging to Leo. What a journey it has been from the virgin birth to the second coming, and now the end of the age. The enemies of God of Israel and the church are defeated at last. The raven. Corvus, another creepy sounding name, is depicted as a raven pecking at the body of the snake Hydra. It appears to have just alighted on. Let's look at this on Stellarium. And we can center this again, and we can see here that Corvus is on the back of Hydra. So it appears to have just alighted on the serpent's back, wings still unfurled. The opening scriptures describe its function in the end times as feasting on the endless numbers of dead bodies after the Great War. The first time the word raven is mentioned in the Bible is right after the great flood of Noah's day. Remember what happened back then. Let's revisit the scene. Genesis 8, 6, and 7. So it came to pass at the end of 40 days that Noah opened the window of the ark which he had made. Then he sent out a raven, which kept going to and fro until the waters had dried up from the earth. But Noah also sent out a dove with a different result. 8. He also sent out from himself a dove to see if the waters had receded from the face of the ground. But the dove found no resting place for the soul of her food, and she returned into the ark to him. For the waters were on the face of the whole earth. So he put out his hand and took her and drew her into the ark to himself. This is another code that we'll be getting into, but I want you to pay attention to that part of the scripture. So he put out his hand and took her and drew her into the ark to himself. Remember the dove. Why did the dove return, but the raven did not? They're both birds, right? It's highly unlikely that the raven was flying the whole time, so why didn't it return? Because it is a carrion bird. All those people and animals that were destroyed in the flood were floating everywhere as far as the eye can see. It had an endless supply of food. Here we are at the end of time in our celestial story, and we're back at the beginning of the Bible. Why? Because all the books of the Bible, Genesis is probably the most prophetic of all. Everything that happened in it is a picture of what will happen again. This is echoed in our opening passage from the last book of the Bible. Just as the flood is a picture of God's judgment raining down literally on all flesh, so it will be in the judgment of the last days. It will be poured out like water from a pitcher on all who are ungodly and have sold out to the devil. They are the one outside the ship, Argo, the ark, after the rapture of the church. Okay, family. So remember, we were just showing you that this sign is connected with the boat. And this is a very, very important part of the heavens. And we can see how these comets are essentially pointing us right to the ship. And that's a very important sign that we're getting in the heavens. So let's go back. Here we are after the rapture of the church. So this is connected with the escape. For those who may not know, what was killed in the flood were creatures that were not fully human. They, like these people of the end times, had sold out to Satan, both received the mark of the beast in. For more details on the story of Noah and to learn what was really killed in the flood, follow the links below. And so I'll let you go and go into that more. What we're trying to do is point out that this is a sign in the heavens of this raven and the dove, and we're going to dig deeper into these raven signs. So here, according to the opening scripture after the great war between heaven and earth, the angels will invite the ravens and the birds of the air to feast on the bodies of all the dead. If you don't want to end up as bird food, all you need to do is ask Jesus to be your substitute. Do it while it's still time, so you can join the great company that will be safely taken out of the way when all hell breaks loose. But you must make a choice. As I said in the article before, salvation is neither universal nor automatic. It is a gift offered to whoever will. Will implies choice. By implication, there will be some who will not. Please grab on to the nail pierced hand that is stretched out to you while there is still time. And we can see in this image here that the lion is tied to Crater, and Crater is tied to Corvus, and it's tied to the woman. And we're seeing a very clear connection in the heavens of this Corvus sign associated with these watchmen. Okay, so let's dig a little deeper. There are only two names that have come down to us from antiquity. Kaima, a Hebrew name which means the accursed, and Al Gharab, an Arabic name meaning the raven. This confirms what we already know to be true, that in the end times the raven, along with the other carrion birds, will feast on those who sold out to the beast. Do the ancient names of the stars further the narrative? Of course they do. So here we go, ancient names of the stars. In the eye of our creepy creature is the brightest star. It has the Arabic name of Al Kibar, the joining together. In Hebrew, it means the curse inflicted. Another Arabic name star is Minkir al Gharab. This is the creepiest name of all. The ravens piercing or tearing to pieces. Double ouch. So accursed and reprehensible, the bodies left to rot in the sun are so despicable, they are not even worthy of proper burial. The gruesome testifying message of these names is crystal clear. They describe the aftermath of the destruction of God's enemies, how their bodies will litter the landscape, providing no lack of food for multiples of carrion birds. The bodies will not need to be buried, they will be a nearly unlimited food source. But it is not only the human defectors that will be ripped and to shreds by sharp talons, pierced by sharp beaks, and fully consumed. The devil will suffer the same fate at the hands of our victorious Jesus, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. And we can see here in the Dendera star map, this is one of the star maps that I will be decoding in our Ancient Artifacts series. This is one of my favorite tools to decode the ancient times. The Dendera is absolutely important for us to be able to decode the heavens. So here we are, the Dendera, the Egyptians, who usually have an entirely different take, pictured this sign as a bird perched on the back of a serpent behind the figure of a lion. You see these Egyptian hieroglyphs and these Egyptian stories that go back from antiquity before what we would consider the modern Egyptian tales. the ancient Egyptian stuff that's in most of these temples um, was, in my opinion, was done long before the information that they've given us, and the modern Egyptians essentially came into finding these things that were already there, and they had to try to decode it for themselves. And in that process, they turned those things into religion, and the ancients didn't have that same perspective. And so we're trying to dig deeper into the more ancient understanding of these things. And that's where the Mazzaroth really comes in, because it goes much deeper into the star language and the ancient story before the corruption of the Babylonians. So let's just dig into this. Um, they referred to the snake as the great enemy and named it Hernah. Her means him who testifies, and Na means to fail or to break. We met these two hieroglyphic names in Cancer, the crab. And this is going to become very important, that we disclose all these things because of what we are looking at in the Mazzaroth with this sign. So again, here we are, and you can see that it's talking about Cancer. Quickly, let's go back and let's look at this sign, and we can see here that the sun is in the constellation on July the 25th. The sun is in the constellation of Cancer along with Mercury, the messenger. So again, this is the bridegroom and the messenger. So we can look at that as a message from the bridegroom. And this is on July the 25th. And we'll be getting into the day also. This sign is pretty heavy duty. It's really extremely heavy duty for me, and we'll get into that also. So we're looking at a connection to the constellation of Cancer. And during this sign, we have the sun and Mercury pointing us as a message in this constellation of Cancer. The moral of the story is this: the great enemy who used to terrify us is failing or being broken. And hallelujah, we win because our God reigns. And this is the Emmaus Road Ministries study on Corvus. Now, quickly, we're going to go here. This is from the Alpha and Omega. This is chapter 5. And I'm gonna connect the link, and you can go and read this. We're gonna go down to footnote 3, Guide to the Gods by Richard Carleon, and we're going to go past this Book of the Dead, and we're going to get here. Let's read this information. As you will see on the following page, a connection between the above with Greek mythology and the recent proposals by modern astrologers, Gnosticism, and Hermetic sciences, the modern fortune tellers or horoscope readers who have been using their charting techniques on a zodiac, which was based on Babylonian references that are no longer valid in physical terms, have recently proposed that a new zodiac sign be entered into the sequence with the other 12 to account for the variation from the precession of the equinoxes. At last notice, this 13th sign would be called Ophiuchus, the serpent bearer. This is great. This makes me wonder whether anyone who has ever had their chart read can sue for false advertising or results, or better yet, get a refund on forecasts that did not come to pass. And the reason he's saying that is because uh, when you do astrology, you're looking at a chart that is tied to what the heavens were thousands of years ago. It has nothing to do with what is happening in the heavens as we look at them, because in astrology, my sign would be a Leo, but when I go looking in Stellarium, my sun sign is July 25th is my birthday. And July 25th, the sun is in Cancer family. Look, this is July 25th. Is that sun in Leo? Of course not. And this is a corruption. Astrology is corrupted. It's not telling you the truth of what we can witness for ourselves in the heavens. So that's why he's saying this makes me wonder with anybody who's had their chart read can sue for false advertising because this is false information. Astrology is corruption, and they are not using. Now we're talking about traditional astrology. There is what's called sidereal, and there is the uh, the Indian culture has a Vedic astrology, and that is completely different than your traditional astrological stuff. But we still don't use these charts to try to make sense of our lives each day. These signs were put there for us to magnify the creator and the signs that he's giving us for us to follow our lives in him, and not to be looking at our own personal lives and trying to look at the heavens for us to determine where our lives going. It's not tied that way. There are very important birth charts that, because of when you're born, you have a very specific purpose that is meant for your life, and that has to do with the creator's purpose for you. You come into this world in a very specific time for a very specific purpose, and most of us have no clue what that purpose is because we are disconnected from that ancient understanding. And so we don't use astrology in this research, and we don't promote astrology. We're here to teach you why that is a corruption and a falsehood, and it's important to understand the difference. So, Greek mythology, in regard to the constellations of the zodiac on the Arabic Ophiuchus and the Greek Asclepius, and the connection to Pharaoh Akhenaten or Amenhotep IV. Okay, here's where it really gets deep, and this is very important information that we dig out, and we have to understand what we're looking at in the heavens, and this is where all of our ancient mythology comes from, family. They turned what they saw in the heavens into mythology, and we can decode all of that based on our understanding of the Mazarah. So let's dig into this. This is a really important part of the study. Ara is a constellation below Sagittarius and Scorpius referred to the altar of the centaur Chiron, but was sometimes called the altar of Dionysus or Dionysus. The Greco-Roman mythology is the god of wine and an orgiastic religion celebrating the power and fertility of nature, also called Bacchus. Latin Dionysus and Greek Dionysos, half man and half horse, again pointing to Sagittarius. Chiron was believed to be the wisest creature on earth. It is he who first brought order to the sky by showing mortals how to draw lines between the stars to form constellations. According to the early Greek myths, it was Chiron who first fashioned the constellation and showed mankind how to read the sky. Below Virgo, the constellation Centaurus to the Greeks is said to be Chiron, smartest and wisest of his race, wiser even than the gods. He was skilled in the arts of hunting and medicine and was the tutor of such illustrious humans as Jason, who's the Argonaut, Achilles, Hercules, and Asclepius. He placed a picture of himself in the sky to guide the Argonauts on their quest for the Golden Fleece. Below Leo, another myth associated with the constellation Corvus shows Apollo had an affair with Coronis, the daughter of a king. They had a son, Asclepius, the founder of medicinal science, who was immortalized in the sky as the constellation Ophiuchus. Apollo became suspicious that Coronis was unfaithful to him and sent his spy, Corvus, men of silver plumage, to observe. Indeed, Corvus reported back to Coronis was having an affair with a certain Ischylus of Iscais of Arcadia. In a rage, Apollo slew Coronis with an arrow and consigned Corvus to Hades and turned his feathers black, which they have remained to this day. Above the constellation Scorpius, we have Ophiuchus, who is identified as Asclepius, a legendary physician known as the god of medicine. It is said that Hippocrates, the famous Greek physician and the father of medicine, was his 15th grandson. According to the legend, one day Asclepius killed a snake, but to his surprise, another snake arrived and revived its companion with herbs. This is how Asclepius learned of the medicinal power of plants. Snakes have long been associated with the medicinal arts. The symbol of the medicinal profession is the caduceus, a staff entwined with serpents. Caduceus was the herald's wand or staff, especially in ancient times. In Greek mythology, a winged staff with two serpents coined around it, carried by Hermes. Again, Hermes can be seen as Thoth and also Enoch. An insignia modeled on Hermes' staff and used as the symbol of the medicinal profession, Latin caduceus, alteration of Greek parakeion from karuk or herald. As his medical skills grew, Asclepius even learned to revive the dead. This knowledge worried Hades, the Roman Pluto, god of the underworld, who feared that his domain would not receive any new souls. Hades persuaded his brother Zeus to kill Asclepius with a thunderbolt and to decree all mortals must one day die. Zeus did strike Asclepius dead, but to honor his skills as a healer, Zeus placed Asclepius in the sky with his serpents. From the Arabic Ophiuchus, we go to the Greek Asclepius, who was a favorite of the Greek gods, a son of Apollo. Homer described him as a god man, which suggests Nimrod. According to Greek mythology, he was a healer, he cured the sick, and reported to have brought the dead back to life by means of blood taken from the side of the goddess of justice, which is the Libra connection in this chapter. He is called the physician, the desired one, the health giver, the universal remedy. He finally suffered death from the lightnings of heaven, but was raised from death to glory through the influence of his father Apollo. The pagan nations lose sight of the original revelation from God. Christ, the coming Savior of the world, is revealed as the great physician who cures various diseases, who brings life out of death by blood taken from the side of the goddess of justice. Okay, so this is from, again, the Alpha and Omega Chapter 5. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to be, again, this is July the 25th, 2022. This sign appears in heaven. We're going to be looking at a very important understanding of this day. Um, This is very important understanding of what we're looking at with this sign. We're going to be up bringing it all the way to our time today. We're going to be discussing how this comet is pointing us to a very specific code. So first, let's dig into this. The day out of time Twilight Zone, Mayan calendar, we are portals of source, arc of ascension. All right, family. So this is the Mayan calendar, and what we're looking at on the Mayan calendar is a very important uh, this is a very important part of this study. This happy day out of time portal on the Mayan calendar, July 25th. This is from 2024. We're just going to be using this um, to disclose the Mayan day out of time, and that there is a time portal, and we're going to be discussing how this time portal works. Um, there's not a lot of information that's within the Maseroth for this information. This is essentially, we'll get into it and I'll show you how this works. So today we step into no time, or what we call timelessness of the non-physical, as we navigate in between worlds and time, as we release the old cycles and begin a brand new galactic spin, a new cycle tomorrow on the 26th of July of new earth, of peace and prosperity for all sentient beings, of the way. On the Mayan calendar today, we have Kin 18, white over to blah, 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 blah. We don't need to read any of that. I think I needed to stay on this next one down. A lot of this information is uh, sometimes it's hard to read because it's more new age kind of information. Where did that other study go? Um, where did the study go that I was? Give me one sec, family. I'm gonna pause this and get back. I lost my place. Okay, sorry, fam. I was uh, far away from the information that I needed to present. So here we go. This is July 25th, the day at a time. July 25th is called the day at a time since it is the culmination of the 13 moon calendar year. Originated from the Mayan science of time, it closes 13 moons of 28 days, equaling 364 days. Now, again, those of you who have been following me with the Maseroth, we know that in the ancient Enochian calendar, it is equated to 364 days. And we know that we're looking at tracking the sun, moon, and stars. And in the ancient Enochian calendar, there were three ways of tracking time. You had the sun, which was 365.25 days approximately. Then you have the moon calendar, which is 354 days. And then you have the star calendar, which is 364 days. But the Mayans tracked a completely different way of looking at time with this 13 moon calendar that also equals 364 days. In this sense, the day out of time is the extra day, the 365th day, the last day of the galactic year on the Mayan calendar. This is also part of the Lion's Gateway 88 or 88. I feel that many of us are now beginning to put a wider context, not just this lifetime training us for this point in time, but well, that's uh, like I said, there's a lot of in this information that I'm looking at here. There is a lot of new age information, and I'm not trying to bring that forward. But it is important for me to show you what we just showed you. This is also tied to the quantum time, and also this golden seed of creation. And this is all important information being brought forth. We could really go into a lot of detail about, let's see, So we can see here that July 25th is the Mayan day out of time. And if you just pull that up, family, you can go deep and you can look at um, this Mayan day out of time. You can understand the calendar. You can understand. This is one that I've used before. This one goes in deep into the Zolkin, and let's see here. This is a very, very important study that I've done before. And this goes into why the Mayan calendar was pointing to December the 21st, 2012. And this also talks about the connection with July 25th and Sirius. It talks about the calculations of the 13 moon calendar and how this galactic calendar is absolute precision, and it's something that we're missing in our modern understanding and could be connected to what we're looking for in the signs of time. And so I'll connect this one also. But we wanted to bring forth this information because this sign is coming to us on July the 25th. The sun is in the constellation of Cancer. This is the bridegroom. On this exact day, we have Mercury as the messenger in the constellation of Cancer. Um, I believe I'm bringing forth this message because this is my birth date. And it's very important for us to see this sign. We have Comet Machaut, and now what we're going to do is we're going to move forward, and we're going to be looking at this comet. We're going to be looking as this comet moves through the heavens. We can see, let's just back this up. We're going to be looking at the movement of this comet. We can see here in the starting point. Now we're looking at 2023. We're looking at 2024. And if you notice, it is pointing us to these constellations that were essentially in the story that we read about. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to move forward. We're going to be looking at this transitioning, and here we can see that Machholz is again pointing to this story, and now aligning with the bridegroom. And now what we're doing is we're transitioning through Christmas, and we can see here we're aligned with Mercury again. And now we're coming to this time that we're in. And I wanted to point out this incredible sign because this comet is leading us right into the tabernacle, family. This is an incredible sign here. Again, let's just back it up. Let's just watch this transition as it enters into the Scorpio constellation. Then we have the sun aligning here on the 25th, and we can just watch this Mercury sign. Again, family, I was pointing this out last year, that Mercury goes retrograde right at what we would call the leg line of Ophiuchus. And you can't make this up, family. This day is the day that Mercury aligned with the outer leg of Ophiuchus, and the sun exits the hoopah. This is a mark of the hoopah between Mercury and Saturn. I mean, Mercury and the sun, and you have the comet right in the mix, pointing us to a harvest because it's in the claw of Scorpio. And Mercury is right there pointing us to the claw of Scorpio. These are all very, very important signs. Now we can just watch as the days progress. We have we've already shown all these signs of Comet Atlas. Now we have this sign transitioning. We can see and remember back, we were showing all of the signs of Comet Atlas. And now we're looking at Machholtz inside of the hoopah. And we're looking at the exit of the hoopah on 2/8. So February the 8th, we have Machholtz. Let's just go ahead and back it up. We can see our timing is in the middle of the day. We have Comet Machholtz exiting the hoopah. And now we see the transition through the Golden Gate. And we can see that the moon, this is just amazing, family. As Machholtz goes into the Golden Gate, the moon enters into the tabernacle, pointing us to this sign of this is an amazing alignment here of Comet Machholtz lining up here with, you can see this alignment here on 4/7 at the very end of the day on 4/7 going into 4/8. We have 141 PG Machholtz aligning us with the tabernacle. And this is very important star language. We can just move through the heavens and we can see another very important sign. The moon is pointing us to the sickle of Leo. And again, we have Mars pointing us to Pollux. We have the king seated in the judgment seat, and heaven is in the judgment seat. And we have on the same day, just amazing signs, family. We have the sun aligning with the eastern fish band. We have Venus in the head of the eastern fish. We have Mercury as the message above Saturn. And we are looking at Comet Machholtz pointing us to the sanctuary, the tabernacle. This is coming up 4/7/2025. We can go back and we can look at a very important message. And this message, you can see, just aligns on 7/25. This alignment comes into play with Corvus all the way to the ship. And this ship is very important in our story, as we talked about this great ark in heaven is being pointed to by our watchmen. And it's like the watchmen are getting in the boat. And we're looking at essentially 3 years ago, we're looking at a very important sign in the heavens. This is the sign of the raven. And it is pointing us to, I'm glad I had this all done because I just lost the comet. Um, and I don't know if I will be able to get it back. Let's see if we can scroll in. Yeah, it's gone, fam. So, this is how it's been working. And once I lose it, then I have to go all the way back and do a whole bunch of steps. So I'm glad we're done with this. I'm going to go ahead and connect all the dots. We're going to come back in part 2, and we're going to do a deep research on the sign of the dove. So this is part 1. This is the sign of the raven. Thanks for coming. I know we're just over an hour. This is a long study, but it's important for me to bring all these things out. This is a call to all the watchmen. We are looking at a very important sign in the heavens, family, and as watchmen, we need to bring these things out before the people. And I pray that this message will bless all of you out there. And again, this is a call to all of the watchmen. Please spread this video far and wide, and I pray that you are blessed. Much love, and we will see you back very soon.